Welcome to Cut the Sith Comic Reviews with your host, Colin McFoy. Today I'll be covering Star Wars Issue 3, The Destiny Path Part 3 by Charles Soule, Jesus Saez, Arif Prianto, and Clayton Coles. This issue picks up inside the Tarkin's will, and Zara, the new character we got introduced to in this comic. We learn a lot more about her character. She hates Leia. She wants revenge on Leia. And it's because of what happened on the Death Star. And you know what? I agree with her 100%. Zara, completely right. The rebels need to pay for the tragedy they committed to the Death Star, for all the innocent lives they killed when they blew up the Death Star. And Zara holds Leia Organa solely responsible for that. At one point, her second in command, Lieutenant Gore, I believe his name was. Yeah, Lieutenant Gore. So at one point, Lieutenant Gore is like, you know what? I think it's time. It's because they were no longer able to track the rebel cells because the rebels figured out that the Empire had cracked the code and was using it to track them down and destroy them. So they were no longer sending code and messages to each other. The Empire can't track them right now. So in this down period, Lieutenant Gore's like, you know what, Zara? I got an idea. Let's fix up the hull of the ship. It's a little banged up, beaten up. And Zara's like, you fool. Why would you suggest something so controversial as repairing the hull of this ship? Do you not know what this ship means? And then we learned a lot about Zara and what she stands for. And it is awesome. When the Death Star blew up, there was countless other ships in the vicinity of the Death Star's explosion that were destroyed as well, from wreckage of the Death Star. The Tarkin's will was originally called the Fortitude. It took massive damage from the wreckage of the Death Star when the Death Star blew up, and it was supposed to be recycled for scrap. And when Vader told Zara that she could have any ship in the fleet, she's like, I want the Fortitude. She fixed the ship up, she renamed it the Tarkin's Will, and she handpicked every member of the crew as someone who had lost someone close to them on the Death Star, so that they would never forget the tragedy of the Death Star. And she also lost someone close to her. It's not said who she lost close to her in the death of the Death Star. Death of Death Star. But I'm pretty sure we'll find that out maybe in the next issue or a couple issues. But she says that she will whisper that name into Leia Organa's ear, and then her blade will find her throat. So she is completely holding Leia responsible for the destruction of the Death Star. And she has assembled a team that is just out for revenge, out for blood, and built them of all the people who were all wronged by the destruction of the Death Star. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of Spider-Man Far From Home, when you see that scene after Mysterio gets the Edith glasses from Spidey, and then Quentin Beck's up there, and he's telling how Tony Stark renamed his thing Barf, and then you saw the guy from Christmas Story who was in the first Iron Man, and Obadiah Stane was like, Tony Stark built that in a cave with a box of scraps. They start yelling at him. You got all these other people that work for Tony Stark that Tony completely just shit on because he was a horrible boss and a horrible person. You know what? I'm glad Tony Stark's dead. Universe is better off without him. And that's what reminds me of, Leia Organa is Zara's Tony Stark. And the destruction of the Death Star is her barf. Anyway, though, after that, we just head back to Cloud City with the Lando, Leia, and Luke looking for Luke's lightsaber, and Lando says he needs to go because there's somebody he owes a debt, and they may not believe it, but he believes in loyalty. He's full of shit. If he believed in loyalty, he wouldn't have sold out the rebels to the Empire. I mean, this whole mess right now with Han and Carbonite, the Empire having control of Cloud City, it's all Lando's fault. Guy's trying to talk about fucking loyalty. Fuck him. Well, anyways, Empire has control of Cloud City. Who knew? Lando, though, still has some connections. Smooth talks to Pow to make it look like she's trying to shoot them down, but miss a little. And so they end up getting into the city, and right from the second they land there, the Empire is on their ass. Explosions, there's gunfire at them. So the three of them all go into their separate directions. Leia goes somewhere. It's not specifically said at the start. Like, she doesn't really tell Luke and Lando where she's going. She just tells them she has somewhere to go. Luke is going where he fought Vader to look for his lightsaber. Lando's going to go find someone. We find out that Lando was looking for Lobot, who's currently plugged into like the central mainframe of, I assume, like Cloud City. I don't know. He's plugged into the central mainframe of that, like, of the fortress there. Whereas Luke, he heads out to the goddamn battle site where he fought Vader, and he's having like flashbacks of the fight with Vader. You know, he is still not over the ass whooping that he took. It's more that he's not over the fact that, you know, Yoda and Obi-Wan both lied to him, and that Darth Vader, the most evil man in the galaxy, well, second most behind Palpatine, is his father and wants the two of them to rule the galaxy, to overthrow Palpatine and rule the galaxy together. So yeah, some might say that that's not what he's over, that that's what's causing these memories, because it's always like, together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But no, it's because he got his ass whooped. The man lost his arm, he lost the lightsaber, and he just got a complete ass whooping. Some ass whippings don't hail. I mean, it took Rocky an entire montage to get over the Clubber Lang ass whooping. But Lando, because, you know, he knows his shit, he then uses the fact that Lobot is plugged into, like, Cloud City's, like, control panels, and decides to, like, shoot the toxins of the Tabana gas out into the city. And then we finally find out what Leia's doing, and looks like she's trying to undo the carbonite. Yeah, she's going for the decarbonation sequence. But then she gets stunned by some stormtroopers, and Luke ends up at the little trash facility where his lightsaber is supposed to be, and I mean, there's a mountain of trash here. It is going to be impossible to find that lightsaber without the Force. And actually, as we saw earlier in this issue, he's still having trouble with his connection to the Force. Like, he hasn't been able to reach out to Obi-Wan or Yoda ever since that fight with Vader. His connection with the Force went spotty outside of that one Force vision he had at the end of issue 2, where that person was calling out to him. Outside of that, this man has not had good luck with the Force since that ass whooping. And it showed because there's a part where he's piloting the ship into Cloud City, and Lando's like, dude, you blew up a Death Star, but you can't, like, avoid these ships, and it looks like it's different, which kind of, I guess, hints at, like, because he had to blow up, to find how to blow up the Death Star, that man trusted the Force, and right now he's on shaky grounds with the Force. So without the use of the Force, there's no way he's finding this lightsaber in this goddamn trash den. As for Leia, the issue ends with her ass getting turned into carbonite. So you know what? When Leia and Han both eventually survive this, they get married, and they have a child named Ben, they can look back on this moment and just tell a funny story about how both of them were frozen in carbonite at the same time. That's actually pretty adorable to think about. But yeah, we'll have to find out more in the next issue. Star Wars Chapter 4, or Star Wars Issue 4. Anyways, like the channel, comment on the video, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/cutthezip, Instagram at instagram.com/cutthezip, join the Discord to talk all things Star Wars with us. All the links, everything you need will be in the bio. I love you, and may the Force be with you always.